I'm telling you, it charges me. And we're just like you guys. I mean, man, we go through so much stuff, and life just has a way of just, if you focus on your problems, if you begin to take inventory of all the sadness and all the hurt and all the pain and all the despair and all the evil and the wickedness and everything that's just spiraling out of control, if you begin to focus on those things and take inventory of all of that, my friends, you will quickly be in a defeated state of mind and exactly where the enemy wants us. But when God's children, in spite of the troubles, in spite of the pain, when we began to sing of His goodness, do you realize how crazy that sounds to a hurting world? But to us it makes perfect sense, because Jesus said, I have overcome the world. Amen. And He said that the peace that I give you is not peace that the world gives. It's my peace I give unto you. Amen. That's why we can sing of His goodness in the hardest times of life, in the longest days where the pain is so real. We've been going through so much as a family. It just seems like it's one wave after another, and I never want to magnify our problems on a platform. Never. But I also want to say in all those trials and all those difficulties that we have faced as a family, every single time God has done something so significant, so real. He has manifested His power and His presence and His peace in such a new and just a confirming and affirming way that every single time our faith grows, and every single time we just say, God, all we can do is sing of your goodness. When our daughter miscarried her twins, we just sing of His goodness. When my dad went through renal failure and we thought that he was going to die, and this lady right here who he had never met in his life before gave him her kidney, and my dad's life was saved, we just sing of His goodness. I went through open heart surgery. All in the midst of that, we sing of His goodness. My dad just 5 weeks ago had a really bad headache. We rushed him to Emory where he had his kidney transplant. Before he could even get to the hospital, he was completely incoherent. He had several strokes and brain bleeds, and he was intubated into a coma, and he lay there for 10 days. We never traveled for 3.5 weeks, and my mother and I were at his bedside 24 hours a day. And finally, about 4 a.m. on January the 11th, they called us in, all the neurosurgeons, and they said, hey, there's nothing we can do. You guys got to make the decision. We can keep him alive for months, but he's not going to live a life that he would want to live. We already knew where this was headed. So we decided he had these 4 big tubes coming out of his brain, and the kidney that this beautiful lady gave him was working perfectly, by the way. But they said, it's your decision. We decided to turn those machines off. We were calling all of his sisters and brothers, calling all of our family, and everybody was coming bedside. I already called the pastors and the singers, the preachers, the funeral home. We were planning his funeral. 4 or 5 hours later, the neurosurgeon came back in. He said, I was just sitting there doing your dad's chart, overlooking his body, and he said, and all of a sudden, those 4 tubes that were coming out of his brain, the blood just began to release, and these big blood clots just came out of those tubes. Couldn't even hardly force their ways out. We had to suction them out of his brain. He goes, and I thought, man, that's really strange. And all of his numbers began to improve. So I thought, we got to look at this. So we took your dad into and have an MRI, and every bit of the blood is out of his brain, and there's no brain damage, and we think he's going to make a complete recovery. Just a week ago, he left ICU, and now he's in rehab, and they said in about 12 days, he's going to be home, living a perfect life. We sing of His goodness. And I'm here to say this. If that miracle hadn't have happened, we would still be singing of His goodness. What do we do when we're laying one of our precious loved ones to rest? We sing. Because God is good. All the time. He is pursuing after you and your family. And And if you'll just open up your eyes, and if you'll detach yourselves from anything that gets your attention off of the Lord, if you'll just find that place where you can steal away with the presence of God, He will begin to speak to you and minister to you the peace of Jesus Christ. He will begin to heal you. He will begin to put what was broken back together. And you too can sing of His goodness, and you can realize that His goodness is always